Hi everyone, it's Rachel Hollis. I just wanted to go over how to complete the Module 8 lab. Today we're going to be working in Adobe Premiere Pro, so if you haven't downloaded that, you need to go ahead and install it on your computer. If you're working from a laptop or an older computer, you might have a few issues with video editing because it does take a lot of RAM and processing speed to operate. So I'm on a MacBook Pro, but it's like an older one, so I do have a few issues with like the rendering and stuff. So we'll just have to be a little bit patient with it. But I've been trying to close out everything else so that we can get the most RAM going to Premiere. So if you open up Premiere and start a new document, this is what you're going to see. You have several different windows here. You have the project window, the timeline, program, effects, and then over here you have an effects panel. So the first thing that we're going to do is import the media that we're going to be using, which is some video files that I downloaded from a stock website. So I'll show you that stock website. It's called Pixabay. And you do have to sign up for an account, but you get free downloads for most things. So you can search for images on here that are public domain and free for use. You can search for vector graphics, illustrations, and then also videos. So this is where I found the videos that we'll be using today. And for example, like this fish video here, if you click on it, you can see the license use with it. So it says Pixabay license, free for commercial use, no attribution required. So that one's completely free. And it also allows you to download it at different resolutions. So I've picked the one that has 1080 with it. If you wanted to do a little smaller, you could, but it's probably best to start with the highest quality that you can. The thing with Pixabay is that it's like a community of creative people sharing different things, and so if you want to contribute to the community as well, you can upload your own stock footage or even your own stock images if you like doing that sort of thing. So I highly recommend getting a Pixabay account for that. So once you have some videos that you want to work with, you are going to want to import media. So you can double click on that, or you can go up to File, Import. And with the exception of this WMV file, I'm going to highlight all of these. You can also import JPEGs and use JPEGs in your video. As just like a still image if you want. You could put text on top of it or whatever. So Premiere tends to auto-save every once in a while, which is nice, but we need to go ahead and save our project because up here it's just called Untitled PR Project, and that's a working Premiere Pro project. So we're going to go to File, Save As, and we'll just call this Module 8 Lab. And then you can save it in your Module 8 Lab folder, or your Module 8 folder. And that way it knows where to put it. Okay. So as we go along, we'll hit Command S or Control S every once in a while to save what we're working on. I have found that especially with video editing, you can't be too careful and save your project too often. So it's a good habit to get into. So we have our videos here and our JPEGs. I'm going to go down to the boat video. So you can see over here that it's 59 seconds long. We don't want to use that much of it, so we're just going to click on that one video, and then we're going to drag it over to our timeline. So the timeline is where you actually build your different pieces of the video, okay? So our timeline obviously starts at 0, the playhead is at 0. What you're seeing here are 3 video layers, V1, V2, and V3. And then you're seeing 3 audio layers, A1, A2, A3. We're not going to need that many layers for this project, but sometimes you do want to stack multiple videos and audio, so that's what those are for. Okay, so our boat video is sitting here. It does have a little bit of audio with it, but I don't think there's much going on. So the first thing we're going to do is look at the video. So if you press the space bar, that's going to play the playhead, and you can watch the video up here in the program window. Okay, so see how it's a little bit jerky on my computer? That is not actually how the video plays, but it hasn't been rendered yet, number one. And number two, I don't have a lot of RAM on this computer, so that's why it's looking a little bit jerky. Okay. So notice that when I select the clip, up here in the effects panel, it has all of these different things that you can change about your video. So you can actually change the position of the video, so you could actually have it come in from a different angle if you wanted. You can change the scale, the rotation, anchor point, opacity, and then you have all your audio effects down here, okay? So this is where you go to edit each clip. Now for this particular clip, the boat clip, we don't want it to be 59 seconds long. So what we're going to do is we're going to drag the playhead back over here and then go to the end of the clip, and you'll see this red bracket with an arrow. You want to drag it in to the left, and that's going to crop off the end of the video. So we're going to crop it down till duration is around 10 seconds. Okay, because we're just going to make kind of a nature video collage here. Okay, so we cropped the end of the video, but we didn't actually change the source video, so we're just cropping it within this particular project. Okay. So now if we press the space bar, that's going to play our 10-second video of the boat. Cool. So at this point, we're going to go back and use a JPEG this time. So go over to your project files, and let's go up to the water lilies JPEG. And you're just going to click and drag that over. And as you're dragging, you can clip it right next to the boat video. Okay, so just drop it right there. And we can make the duration of this image however long we want by, again, using that arrow with the red bracket. Okay, so let's make that maybe 2 seconds. We don't want it to be too long. Okay, so real short. Okay, now if I press the space bar and preview, it's going to play the 10 seconds of my boat video. and then it should flash to the water lilies. Okay, so the thing about the water lilies that I'm seeing here is it's pretty small. It's not showing up full screen. So we need to go ahead and change the scale on that. So if you click on water lilies and then scale it up. Oops. Sometimes it'll let you click and drag. There we go. So let's scale it up till we see the whole thing, okay? Good. Just gonna preview that real quick. There it is. Okay, so it should cut to your water lilies and then fade out. Next, we're going to add the video of the sea. So click on the sea video and drag it over. This one doesn't have any audio with it, you'll notice, because there's nothing down here. So let's preview that and see if we can get it like we want it. So it should go to water lilies and then it should go to under the sea. And that particular clip is about 10 seconds long as well. So let's just drag it to where it's around 10 instead of 12. Okay, so if you want to fix your preview up here to where it actually looks more realistic, you can go up here and go to sequence and then render, and that's going to render the different frames so that it plays smoother in our preview. So the thing that takes the longest when editing video is probably rendering and then exporting videos. That takes a little while also. So you just have to have some patience when you're doing video editing.
Okay, so my video just finished rendering, and you can see by the green bar here that it's rendered all the way across. So now, if I drag the playhead back and press the spacebar, it should go ahead and play it more smoothly in the preview window. Okay, so if you see any red up here, then you'll want to go and render it again. And if you add any kind of effects or anything, you can render just those by going to sequence and then render effects into out, or just render into out, and that renders all of it. You can also just render the audio if you want to do that. So right now, we are going to add another photo after the sea video. So if you go over to your sources and get the sunset JPEG, go ahead and drag that over to your timeline. And see how it's red up here? That means this one's not rendered yet, which is fine for now. And we're going to make this one a duration of 2 seconds, just like we did the other JPEG. Okay, and if we go to sequence, render into out, it'll just quickly render that little section right there. And then I'll just click over here, spacebar to make it go. Okay, so if you notice on the sunset photo, it's going to be too small for our screen. So we're going to go ahead and click on it and then go up to Effect Controls. And we're going to drag the scale up to where it fills the screen. This doesn't look like a very high quality JPEG, so that probably wouldn't be something we want to actually use in a video. But it'll work for now, okay? Alright, so we have almost 30 seconds of video. You can see right here it's in between 15 and 30. If you want to zoom in on your timeline, you can use these two dots down here and drag them. So this will zoom in on things if you want to see more clearly what's going on. Or if you want to see the big picture, you can drag it out like this. Alright, so at this point we have audio 1, and there's only an audio channel on this boat video, but it doesn't actually have anything on it, so I think we might try deleting that. Let's see if we can do that. It's actually fine if it just stays there, but we're going to add some audio to our video now. So we have not imported the audio yet, so we need to go up to File and Import. And then it should be in that same folder. It's called Whatcha. So go ahead and import that. Audio also shows up over here in your Assets panel. So you're going to click on that and drag it over and put it on the Audio 2 channel, just so it's not on the one that the boat video has. So you'll see now that this is the audio that we're working with, and you can see the wave format. That's what all those are. So let's go to the beginning and let's try it with audio. Okay, and so obviously the music keeps going there. If you want to cut it off, you can drag it in to match where the video ends. Okay, so let's talk for a minute about transitions. Over here in the effects panel, we have audio effects and audio transitions. We don't need to use those for this project really, but if you want to fade audio in and out, you can do that. So like if I wanted to drop a fade out on the end of it, I can click on it and drag it to my timeline. So now it's going to fade out. Okay? And then video effects and transitions. There's a bunch of different ones that you can do. And you can just kind of play with those as you want to, but basically they work like this. So you would want to just find the one you want and click on it and drag it over the video clip that you want. And any of those effects have to be rendered. So this will turn red again, and you gotta go to Sequence, Render Effects. that was already blurry, so there we go. Okay, and then you also have what are called transitions. So video transitions will cut in between clips. So right now, we're just in between, we just have a cut, and it's just flashing to that. But if you want to do something different, there's all of these different video transitions that you can drag onto it. So for example, let's do like a cross dissolve, okay? And what that's going to do is it's going to dissolve the end of the last clip and fade it back in on the next clip. And after you place that, you're going to go to render effects. Okay, so now it has like a nicer transition there. And I'm just going to add the same thing to all of these clips so that they're consistent. You don't want to get too crazy with the effects unless you're going for something very specific. Alright, so that is the end of this lab. We are going to export our video, and the very important thing you have to remember when you're going to export a video is you need to click down here in the timeline window, or else it won't work. Okay, so make sure that this blue box is on there, and then you're going to go to File, Export, Media. It's 24 seconds long, and as far as format goes, you will need to choose H.264. That's probably the best one we're going to use for this, and then match source is fine. The output, it's going to be an MP4 file. If you want to change the name of it, you can click here. And we'll just call this Module8lab. And we're going to save it in our Module8lab folder. Export video, export audio, that's all good. Pretty much if you choose H.264, you can leave all of these on their default. There are instances, obviously, where you would change that, but this should work fine. It's going to be 30 megabytes. If you want to get the size down a little bit, you can choose one of these different presets, but that's also going to sacrifice quality, so you might just have to play with it a little bit. If I change it to medium bitrate, it's going down to 9 megabytes. So maybe I'll just do that for now. There are presets for Vimeo and YouTube, so you can use those if you want that specific, or there's presets for mobile devices, Facebook, and so on. I'm just going to do medium right now, okay? And then you can go ahead and click export if you want to do it immediately, or you can click queue if you want to add it to a queue of different videos that you need to export. We're just going to click export. and it'll take a little while, especially depending on how long your video is and how many layers you have.